Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to learn how to make the shell stitch crochet pants that you've just seen at the beginning of the video. So for the materials, I used a measuring tape, and the measurement that we are going to consider for this design is your hip circumference, and then from your waistline all the way down to the feet, or until where you want your pants or shorts to stop. You can make this design to pants level or shorts level depending on your preference. And then I also used a 3.5mm crochet hook, a pair of scissors, some stitch markers when it comes to splitting the legs, and then we also have a darning needle to weave in our ends. And for the yarn, I am using this 100% acrylic robin yarn, and I used approximately 6 balls for the whole project. So each ball is 300 yards, so just do your substitution and use any yarn of your choice or any yarn that's available to you. So this is a design that is part of a collection of wide leg crochet pants that I already have on the channel. I have several designs that you can try out, but for today we are making the shell stitch pants. And if you would like to try out any other pants designs, you can just click on the link on the screen and it will give you a collection of my wide leg crochet pants designs. So if you would like the written pattern, it's already available on all my online shops, and I'll be leaving a link behind. So let's jump right into the video. All right, so I'm going to try the center pull. Oh, thank God it has worked. Sometimes it doesn't, but sometimes it works out perfectly fine. So we are going to grab our hook and our 3.5mm crochet hook. You can use any hook of your choice depending on what hook is recommended for the yarn that you've chosen to use for this design. So you're going to make a slip knot. This is how I make mine. And you're going to make a chain that can wrap around your hips when slightly stretched. Remember, these pants are not intended to be very tight. So when you're considering the stretch for the design, make sure it's not very stretched. So for me, I'm starting off with a chain, and your chain should be a multiple of 7. An even multiple of 7 actually, because we want an even number of shells all the way around the first round of our pattern. So for me, I'm starting off with 196 chains, which is a multiple of 7, because 196 divided by 7 is 28, and 28 is an even number. So whatever number of chains that you decide to make for your foundation chain, it should be an even multiple of 7. So 1, 2, 3. Alright guys, now I have my even multiple of 7, and I have a total of 196 chains. So your chain should be able to slightly stretch to your hip circumference. As you can see here, without stretching, I have about 32 inches. Without stretching, 33 inches. But if I stretch, it goes to 40 inches, which is my intended hip circumference, but it even goes beyond, because we don't want these pants to be really tightly fitted. So we want them to have some space or room for stretch. So once you're done with your last chain, you're going to make sure that your chain is not twisted. make sure that braid is always facing up. That's how I can ensure that my chain is not twisted. All right, so I'm slip stitching into the very first chain that we made in order to form a circular ring, as you can see here. Now we are going on to round 1, and we are going to introduce the shell stitch right away. So you're going to make a chain of 3, which counts as our very first double crochet. Into the same exact chain where the chain 3 is coming from, you're going to place 1 double crochet, chain 2, and 2 more double crochets into the same chain. So this will form our very first shell. For this pattern, a shell is 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 more double crochets. So from here, you're going to make a chain of 5 and place a shell after skipping the next 6 chains. So skip 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and into the 7th, yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop. You have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. That's a double crochet. And then place another double crochet into the same exact chain, chain 2, and 2 more double crochets into the same chain. So we've just placed a shell in the 7th chain after skipping 6 chains. So chain 5, skip 6 chains, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and into the 7th you're going to place a shell. So 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 more double crochets. Okay, so you're going to repeat this all the way around. Chain 5, skip 6 chains, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and place a shell into the 7th chain. All right, so go all the way around repeating this pattern. Chain 5, skip 6 chains, place a shell into the 7th until you have 6 chains left on your round, and I'll meet you back at the end of the round to show you how to wind up. So the only part where you have to pay close attention is round 1. The moment you get to round 1 right, then all the other rounds are going to be just a walkover. Alright guys, we've come to the end of the round, and I've just placed a shell in this chain, and I have a total of 6 chains left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So when you have a total of 6 chains left, you're going to make a chain of 5, and you're going to skip over those last 6 chains, and you're going to slip stitch on top of the first chain 3 of the round. Insert your hook and pull through all, and that's how to wind up round 1. So this is what we have. Make sure your work is not twisted at this point, but this is how round 1 looks like. Now we're going on to round 2, and this is the round that we're going to keep repeating until we grow our piece from the waistline all the way to the crotch, or where your legs are supposed to split. So you're going to slip stitch into the next stitch, slip stitch into the chain 2 space, and then you're going to make a chain of 3, which counts as our very first double crochet of round 2. And then into the same space, you're going to place 1 double crochet, chain 2, and 2 more double crochets into the same chain 2 space. So this will count as our very first shell of round 2. 2 double crochets, chain 2 and 2 double crochets, and then you're going to make a chain of 5 and go into the chain 2 space of the next shell, and you're going to place a shell. So 2 double crochets, chain 2 and 2 more double crochets. So round 2 is going to make everything a little bit easier than round 1 because there's no counting. Everything is kind of predetermined at this point. So chain 5, a shell into the chain 2 space of the next shell. And by now you should know what a shell is. 2 double crochets, chain 2 and 2 more double crochets. You're going to repeat this all the way around, and round 2 is going to look something like this. You're going to go all the way around, and I'll meet you back towards the end of round 2. Chain 5, a shell into the chain 2 space of the next shell. So we're coming to the end of round 2, and I'm making a chain of 5 and placing a shell into the last shell, the chain 2 space of the last shell of the round. And once you do this, you're going to make a chain of 5 and slip stitch on top of the chain 3 at the beginning of the round. And that's how to wind up round 2. You're going to repeat this round until you get to your crotch, and I'll be recommending a number of rounds for the different sizes, but just do what suits you. If you feel like you need to add a round or 2, just feel free to adjust this pattern to your liking. So I'm going to just keep repeating round 2 until I get my desired number of rounds, and I'll be back to let you know how many that I decided to make, and also recommend a number of rounds to do for different sizes. Alright guys, we continue to work the shell stitch pattern until we got a total of 15 rows. This is the upper length before the split of the legs, and we are now going to divide the number of shells into 2. As you can see here, I have the middle one here, and I have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, a total of 13 shells on either end of my pair of pants. So on either end of the middle section, these are going to be the middle shells. So I'm counting a total of 13 shells on this side and this side of the middle section, but make sure you split your shells into 2. And at the end of your last shell, make sure that you consider this very first shell to be one of the middle shells of the pants. So I'm going to slip stitch into the next stitch and then slip stitch into the chain 2 space, and then I'm going to make a middle chain that will attach onto this side of my pants. So you're going to make sure that the chain that you decide to make, 1 2 3 6 7 8. So your chain should be a multiple of 7 plus 6 chains. So for me, I've done a total of 34. So after this, I'm going to make a slip stitch into the middle shell, and that way we have split the legs of the pants into 2. So we're going to go ahead and work one side of the pants. So you're going to make a chain of 3, and then into the chain 2 space you're going to place 1 double crochet, chain 2, and 2 more double crochets. That will count as our very first shell. And then chain 5, a shell into the chain 2 space of the next shell, chain 5, a shell into the chain 2 space of the next shell, and you're going to repeat that all the way around until you get to the middle chain, this extension chain that you just made. Alright guys, now we've come back to the chain that we just placed in the middle section. So we're going to make a chain of 5, and into this shell that's attached to the middle chain you're going to place a shell, 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets, just like that. And then you're going to skip the next 6 chains, 1 2 3 4 5 6, and into the 7th you're going to make a chain of 5, skip the 6 chains, 1 2 3 4 5 6, and into the 7th you're going to place a shell. So 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 more double crochets, chain 5, skip 6 chains, 1 2 3 4 5 6, and into the 7th you place a shell. Okay, chain 5, skip 6 chains, and into the 7th you're going to place a shell, and you're going to repeat that until you have only 6 chains left on your row. So when you have your chains left, you're going to skip over them and make a chain of 5 and slip stitch on top of the first chain 3 of the round. This is what you're going to have. And now you're going to go back to the same pattern that you are working for the upper body of the pants. I hope you still remember how to do that. So for me, I'm going to demonstrate what to do on the opposite side so that you don't get confused. I'm going to get another strand of yarn so that I can demonstrate this side as well. To work on the opposite side, I'm going to just demonstrate one round so that in case you finish your first leg, you don't get confused about where to attach the second one. So you attach your yarn in this shell that's attached to the middle chain, and make sure you're working in the same direction as the previous row on the side that you're working on. So make a chain of 3 and 1 double crochet, chain 2 and 1 more double crochet and another double crochet. So we've basically placed a shell into the chain 2 space, then chain 5, and you're going to just go into the chain that received a shell on the opposite side of the chain. Just like that. So the middle chain is here. So make a chain of 5 and then a shell into the chain that received a shell on the opposite side. And repeat that all the way across the chain. Chain 5 and go into this chain 2 space of the shell that's attached to the chain on the opposite side and place a shell there. Okay, so this is what the middle section will look like, and you can see the shells point on different directions. So that means you work the legs separately. You work the first leg first, and then you work the second one next. Chain 5, a shell into the next shell. So for this part, the body of the shorts or the pants, you're just going to continue to work the same exact pattern that we've been doing for the upper part of the pants. So this is what we'll be having. So go ahead and decide whether you're working this side first or this side next, and keep working until you get the length of the pants that you want for yourself. Alright, so we ended up doing a total of 55 rounds for each leg hole. As you can see, these are very wide, the wide leg pants. And yeah, I did 55 rounds for each leg hole after the split of the legs. So you're going to keep doing yours until you get the length of the pants that you want. And then after that, you're going to make a chain of 1, cut your yarn, leaving behind loose ends to weave in. And now we're going to go onto the upper side and create the waistband of our design. So to create the waistband, I am going to use a double strand. I'm going to make a slip knot and then attach my yarn in any chain space at the top of the pants. So just go into any space, and using a double strand, you're going to attach your yarn and make a chain. 1, 2, 3. So this counts as our very first double crochet. And now you're going to go into the same exact space with a total of 4 more double crochets to make a total of 5 double crochets in the space. So we have 5 double crochets, including the chain 3 at the beginning of the round. And then you're going to go into the next space and place a total of 5 double crochets. Five double crochets into the next space. So remember, when we were creating the foundation chain of our pants, we considered the hip circumference. So what we are trying to do here is to gather this circumference to become a little bit smaller and adjustable, but also perfectly fitted around the waist. So continue to place 5 double crochets in each chain space. Alright, so we've made it all the way around, placing 5 double crochets in each chain space. And now you're going to place a slip stitch into the top of the first chain 3 of the round. So you can see how the waistband has gathered up. It's no longer as wide as it was before. So we're going to go on to round 2 of the waistband. You're going to make a chain of 3 and then front post double crochet in the next stitch, back post double crochet in the next. So for those who don't know how to make this stitch, for a front post, you yarn over, go under the next stitch and push it to the front and then double crochet as usual. And then for a back post, you yarn over, go behind the stitch and push it to the back and double crochet as usual. So we are alternating between a front post and a back post double crochet in order to achieve a ribbed effect for the waistband of our pants. Just keep alternating between a front post double crochet and a back post double crochet all the way around, and you can see how the ribbed effect has already started forming. So go all the way around and I'll meet you back at the beginning of round 2. Alright, so we're coming to the end of round 2 of the waistband, and I'm ending with a front post double crochet and then slip stitch on top of the first chain 3 of the round. Alright, so you're going to slip stitch on top of the first chain 3 of the round, just like that, and we're done with round 2. So round 3, you're going to make a chain of 3, which counts as our very first double crochet, and you're going to make a front post in each front post double crochet and a back post in each back post double crochet. This is going to emphasize the ribbing a little bit more than what it already is, and we're just going to keep alternating between the 2 stitches all the way around, and this is going to be the final round of our waistband. For the waistband, we are going to do only 3 rounds, and this is the 3rd round of the waistband. So go all the way around and I'll meet you back at the beginning of the round. So we've made it around the last round of the waistband, and I'm going to slip stitch on top of the first chain 3 of the round, then make a chain of 1 and cut my yarn. So that marks the end of the waistband, and you can see how the ribbed effect has been created around the waistband, and also the thickness. The waistband is much thicker than the actual body of the pants. So I'm now going to make a simple chain that's going to act as the drawstring for the waistband to make it adjustable, to either make it smaller or bigger, depending on the fitting that you're going for. So you're going to grab your yarn and make a slip knot and just make a simple chain of about 200 chains. Okay guys, we've made the drawstring. So you're going to thread your tail of the drawstring into a darning needle, and you're going to go in and out of every 2 stitches of the middle round of the waistband. So in and out of every 2 stitches all the way around. Alright guys, after making it all the way around, you're going to just make a knot, and this is going to hold the pants up in position, as you can see here. And let's see the final look. Go ahead and just weave in all your ends, and you can go ahead and attach tassels on the ends of the drawstring. And let's see the final look of our design, guys.